And the meeting is live.
Okay. We'll call the September 19th meeting of the Riley County Commission to order. Please, everybody, join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I'm going to ask the question this morning, who's ready for fall?
Yeah, and it's not gonna feel like fall today and tomorrow.
No, but hopefully by the time we get to Sunday, it will.
70.
Yeah, a little bit of rain.
I need.
It rained just enough to make everything dirty. So I decided I'm gonna wash the truck. And that means it will rain.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's my rain dance typically. So.
Go for it.
Yes, so, okay, we'll do that. So everybody, you're welcome. So, yeah. Okay, we'll start off with some public comments this morning. Anybody? Anybody? No, you can't do it from there. You have to do it from here.
Just for the mic. Commissioners, I'd like to ask that you add an executive session. You've got one on the agenda, but this would be an addition.
One's not.
No, I make a motion that we only allow one executive session per meeting.
That's simple.
Okay, I would make a motion to add an executive session to the county councilor's administrative work session.
Second. Been moved and seconded to add an executive session to Clancy Holman's administrative work session time at 9:30. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
No, it might be boring.
Yeah. You're never gonna live that one down, by the way. Okay. All right, any other public comments this morning? Going once, going twice. Moving on to commissioner comments. Commissioner McKinley.
Okay, well, Tuesday was the update with the contractor for the EMS building. It's a very busy site these days.
Mhm.
Block works should be done in about 2 weeks, and then they'll get started with the exterior stone. Structural steel's going up a bunch of places, and the interior walls are starting in the north section.
Yeah.
Lots of people. Good to see. Wednesday. Just what, yeah, there it went. Wednesday was monthly meeting for the Juvenile Detention Center. We review the financials each month. They get actually an audited financial every month, keep track of it. And then we were introduced to the teachers that are starting the school program because the local school district dropped them. But staff had brought the local, as part of that, they brought the local school board members, invited them for a tour of the building. And they didn't even know what the facility did or who was there or anything about it. So helped educate them about what was really going on. Hopefully change their minds for next year on funding. And that's all I've been.
Okay, well, I don't have a whole lot today. Several of my meetings, including the ones this morning and afternoon, were either canceled or postponed.
Must be nice.
So I spent a lot of time catching up on office things in my home office and visiting with constituents. Look forward to the building tour tomorrow and weekend with K-State playing. Keith says it's Fall Festival on Sunday. So I'm going to that plus several other events, but hopefully it won't rain.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I have.
Well, none of my stuff got canceled.
Well.
I'm sorry. I hope it does rain Sunday.
Yeah, I do too.
Well, I've got a convertible, so I'm gonna have to put the top cut.
Convertibles down usually don't work very well for politicians.
No,
It might
they
be
don't.
Good to have it up. Just saying. Anyway, Monday afternoon, we had the September meeting of the Riley County Law Enforcement Agency Law Board meeting. Little change of pace, had it up in the city of Randolph, after establishing a quorum, passed the regular consent agenda as written, which included the minutes from the last meeting and the current RCPD expenditures. General agenda items included some public comments, several board member comments, two meritorious service awards that were presented to Human Resource Specialist Nicole Dewith and payroll technician Brenda Randall for their work and efforts within the agency. We approved the 2024-2025 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Award grants that'll eventually come back to us for approval as well, just so you're aware. Had discussions on a possible revision to an ordinance in the city of Manhattan on parking on private property. Discussed an Aggieville safety initiative and firearms, as well as a director's memorandum to state legislators regarding local firearm violence and just other things that have been occurring here recently at the start of the school year. Lastly, we had 2 executive sessions, one on the matter of non-elected personnel and another on attorney-client privilege. Next month's meeting will be in the city of Riley. Actually, it was pretty well attended too. There was quite a few people from the community there. Apparently, they like RCPD better than they like us. So, also, Monday afternoon, I listened in on a collaboration from the Council on Foreign Relations and the Brookings Institute on Foreign Policy program, who convened a panel of experts to discuss the foreign security and economic policy challenges facing democratic governments in Europe as well as the United States. The panel included Lana Fix, who's a fellow for Europe, and also works on the Council of Foreign Affairs. Matthias, I cannot pronounce his last name, so I'm not going to try. He's a senior fellow for Europe, and he also works for the Council on Foreign Relations. Constance Stellmiller, who's a senior fellow in the Center of the United States and Europe for the Brookings Institute, and Tara Varma, who's a visiting fellow center of the United States and Europe for the Brookings Institute as well. Presiding over that panel was Edward Lucy. He's a U.S. national editor and columnist for the Financial Times. Pretty good discussion. It was just interesting to kind of watch and see what the impacts and everything were from that. Tuesday afternoon, I attended the Kanza United Way 2024 kickoff campaign at the Shamrock Zone at Bill Snyder Family Stadium. Very, very well attended as typical, with community partners, VIPs, and sponsor agencies for Kanza United Way. As many are probably aware, this is the 80th year of the United Way here in the community. And Tara Clausen, CEO of Kanza United Way, spoke on that and reflected on the last 80 years with a video. Discussed the present, lost my train of thought there, sorry, and awarded the 2025 grant recipients and discussed the future with this year's kickoff campaign. She also discussed all of this year's pace setters, which of course includes Riley County with our employee campaign from last month, and had a very successful employee campaign, not just here, but with all those pace setters. Looking to try to meet all those needs throughout this campaign so that we can award everybody the full amount. So a lot of work ahead of everybody on that one, but very well attended. Gave away a couple of iPads and some Kindles as door prizes. Had a lot of cupcakes too. That's steered away from that, but long story short, a very good event as usual. Wednesday afternoon, we had the September meeting of the Metropolitan Planning Organization at the Manhattan Public Library. After some welcomes and introductions, we got a financial update through September 11th. Other staff updates included update on the EV readiness plan, the transportation demand model, and the 2025 UPWP. We also got an update from KDOT, approved the minutes from the August meeting, as well as approved the amendment number 4 to the Unified Planning Work Program. Discussed in more detail a memo to the Junction City Commission, City Council. Actually, it's not Commission, it's City Council. I don't know why I wrote that. As well as for the public on the ATIIP grant and the EV readiness plan. Tabled the executive session for the annual review of the planning managers. There was no available person from Junction City, which is number 2 on that list. So we'll do that in October. And then we basically adjourn. So, and other than that, it's been a busy week at work, and I'm awfully tired. I'm feeling awfully old. And with that, that's all I've got.
Well, you did just have a birthday, you know.
I know, and I'm feeling every bit of that extra year too, by the way. Thanks for mentioning that.
Ready for business, commissioners?
Yeah.
Need a motion to approve certification of unpaid fees and charges for utility service on property located in Riley County, Kansas, located at 5241 Terra Heights, Manhattan, Kansas, in the amount $1,227.60. Special assessment will be placed against Doreen and Ray Trust.
That's the first one on that property.
It's habitual.
It's been every year that I've.
I move to approve the certification of the unpaid fees. Put a special assessment against the property.
I would second that.
Been moved and seconded to approve the certification of unpaid fees and the request to put the special assessment against the property. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair, please sign.
It's going up every year too.
Next, commissioners need a motion to sign notice to the Township Board for cereal malt beverage license for Chad Meyer Stag Hill Golf Club, 444 Stag Hill Road, Manhattan, Kansas.
Okay, I'd make a motion to sign the notice to the Township Board for the cereal malt beverage license for Chad Myers Stag Hill Golf Club at 4441 Stag Hill Road, Manhattan.
Second.
Been moved and signed to sign the notice to the Township Board of the cereal malt beverage license for Chad Myers at the Stag Hill Golf Club. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair, please sign. You. Next, commissioners have Raleigh County Employee Action Forms, Madison Bridges, new hire temporary election day worker, Lachine Washington, new hire temporary election day worker, and Dan Treacher, EMT MS ambulance separation of service. All three signed, please. Nineteenth.
She got 6.
Oh, I have 16.
My youngest,
One of them is.
my youngest birthday tomorrow. Easiest
Well,
one to
did I
keep
do
track
them all
of.
wrong?
Not a
No,
birthday.
I
since
got the first one right and the second one's different. I think, well, I wonder which one is that.
She's our easiest one to keep track of, born in 2000, so that's an easy one to keep track of.
For some reason, I just saw that. I had that one earlier. Everybody else.
Yeah.
3 days.
You came in and signed that.
Yeah, I did.
Monday.
It's all right. I remember this September 16th
Yeah.
pretty well.
You. Next, commissioners need a motion to approve payroll and accounts payable.
And make a motion to approve the payroll and accounts payable.
I would second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve payroll and accounts payable. All in favor?
Aye.
All three signed, please.
It's 19th.
Yes, quickly got here.
all day.
all day.
Might be a long day for me too. I started out tired.
You're not the only.
It's insulating
Started
the
out-
house
Started out
last night.
warm this morning.
You're right.
You should have felt it insulate the house last night. My arms are just itching like crazy. Of
Oh.
course.
I was gonna ask, you're pretty itchy.
Oh, yeah. Man, they cheated me. About three days in a row I was insulating. So late
Okay.
at night today.
Go on.
Yes.
But the good thing is we're done insulating
Good.
until the blown in portion. And my wife said, well, at least the hard part's done. I said, well, at least for me, Blake has to get in the attic.
Yeah.
You can blow the insulation.
Not doing that.
I've done my share of that. This is his house.
We're not waiting for your sheet rock.
Yep, sheetrock's delivered. Sheetrock is delivered as of yesterday.
That's your expertise, isn't it?
Yeah, no,
That's what I did for years. That's why 3 shoulder surgeries and back surgery. So
Not much in on hanging it. I like to finish drywall though.
yeah, we did it all.
I'd have it back down to 3 signatures instead of 5 or 6.
Changes.
Okay.
Commissioners, any changes to the minutes?
I didn't.
Okay. I would make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second,
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes as written from the September 16th meeting of the Riley County Commission. In favor? Aye.
Now the tentative agendas, look, commissioners.
stacked up this.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. What
Remember
happened?
tomorrow.
And Wednesday
Next thing.
and Thursday and Monday and I think we've got one every day, don't we? You're
Practically.
trying to get us there.
Practically.
We'll have Tuesday. Next week.
Kind of like football. Tuesday's the only day off.
Any items for next week's press conference? Okay, next commissioners, you have your executive session with Mr. Holman at 9:30.
Nancy. Got a different map. We could
See what happens when you sit in the back room.
Yeah.
See what happens when you offer executive sessions out of clear blue?
All those meetings have nothing.
Well, after that, I was kind of looking forward to breakfast this morning.
That's with me as well.
I was typing up my comments last night and I was just gonna add preemptively, good morning Manhattan. I looked at it trying to figure out what the speaker was and I'm like, it doesn't say anything about September. It's October. And I'm like,
Well, yeah, they canceled it like at the last minute. I looked through all my emails. I didn't see
I
anything.
didn't, yeah,
Mm.
I just was like, interesting. Then I went to the website. It didn't say anything about September either. So I'm like, So I texted Vivian. I'm like, did you hear anything? I wasn't actually for sure if you were back from vacation yet or either, so.
It's better than the morning we found out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what happened
Yeah.
last time when I pulled up and I said,
Where is everybody?
odd.
Yeah, yeah. I was en route when I got that message from you, so, yeah.
Yeah, that's what Greg, he said. He was just past Keats when he got the message last time.
Shot a quick text to Jason. He's like, yeah, we had to cancel. But breakfast would have been nice this morning. If I'd known he was going to McDonald's, I would have And give me an egg McMuffin.
He offered when he left. He did, he offered if I wanted anything.
Might have to have breakfast for dinner tonight.
Yeah, I do that a lot. Just because I love eggs.
I like eggs, I think they don't like me.
They don't. That's too bad. My grandmother was that way too.
Yeah, it's just, it used to be fine, I eat eggs all the time, I can't tolerate them anymore.
I eat eggs any way you can eat them except for raw.
Raw.
I won't do them raw.
Some people eat them raw too.
Bodybuilders do that a lot. They'll do an egg and a Red Bull, and it's like, ooh, no. It's like they almost cancel each other
It
out.
can't be healthy.
It's not. It's just pure protein and sugar. It doesn't, they offset each other. I don't get it. Turn coin. Okay. Could be anything. I drank too much coffee this morning. Still a little too warm to start drinking coffee. Still a little too warm to start drinking coffee.
Well, iced
So I
coffee's
thought
good.
about it real hard yesterday. I went to work at 5 and I felt like a zombie yesterday morning.
There's some really good iced coffee out there.
I can't do that.
It's not bad if you put that kind of.
Coffee's
cream in.
not warm. I ain't drinking it.
Mm.
It's not doing it.
Well, you'd be surprised when it tastes
And I've
good.
gotten to the point where I've gotten older, I don't even like putting anything in coffee. It's gotta be straight black. I get that from my grandfather apparently, but I ain't doing Saint. That ain't.
Oh, no,
happening.
that's.
That ain't happening. With that there, that's not happening either.
I couldn't recommend it. No, it's not. It's not.
If it's not, coffee's not warm, I ain't drinking it.
I'm not sure it's coffee, it's a coffee flavored beverage. That's, I mean, it is coffee, it's iced coffee.
It's like those ridiculous people that drink flavored bourbon. Not to drink the real thing, just don't do it. It's not.
As
don't do
light
it.
colored as it is, there is very little coffee in it.
Just coloring.
Just coloring.
Yeah.
It's not until November.
Oh, I know. I was up at the park here. And the creek's really gone down.
Mhm.
Walk up and I walked across. I looked and there's a little pond. And there was a bullfrog swimming. He was really having struggling. And he had a tail. I swear it was this long. It hadn't dropped out because the sun got. And every time and the tail would swish back and forth, flip him on his back. And of course, really having a
Wasn't
hard
a very
time
big bullfrog?
with that.
Really? Interesting.
And I'm
Never
like,
seen
this
that.
I want to report it. Somebody's got to go take a picture. I'm going to try to take the picture, but I was just shocked that
Never
he
seen
was
that.
trying to get away from us. And he was really struggling because that tail kept
Never seen that.
pushing him over. I haven't either.
Odd. It's amazing the things you see out in nature.
I know, but that one was, usually they drop their tails. As
Mhm.
soon as they get their legs, it's almost
Mhm.
simultaneously they drop their tails.
One of those,
And there was a big, it's gotta be a big dog. It
those genetic freaks.
could be a monster someday.
Watch it next time you cross the creek.
So, did you hear what I was saying? There's a bullfrog I saw the other day up there. It had a tail on it. This one looked like a snake. And the little bullfrog every time.
John, do you watch K-State football?
Get away from me.
Do you watch K-State football?
Yeah.
Yeah. when we're on-
He finally got away from us.
We've been on-
I just stood there looking.
Huh.
Yeah, I've learned to
It's
follow
about
more.
maybe this thick.
Just not at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Huh.
I need to get the wildlife people.
That's it.
I was just shocked. I didn't want to grab my phone.
Well, I think when the neighbors were having a party. Got a couple linemen or.
I had a
linemen
dream
that
about it the other night, like a monster.
The kids, the parents that own the houses that story,
Uh-huh.
78, like that.
Uh-huh.
I don't know quite what positions, I don't see them, they're sometimes gone before I am, and before 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, those kids get a brutal schedule.
They come and go all times of days.
So did you hear what the University of Tennessee is doing?
I did. Everyone's gonna do it.
Yep, that's exactly it.
That'll be a game. Tennessee, OU this weekend.
Yeah, that's real contrasting stuff.
What did they do?
Tennessee is charging what do they call it? 10%?
Increase ticket prices 10%.
Yeah, but they had a
Cover the NIL,
Yeah.
cover paying the players.
Pay players.
There's.
You gotta get the money somewhere.
Saying in K-State, with most everybody else, there's no more general measure seating. Starting next year.
We're entering.
Well, the north end zone used to be general, and this year it was reserved seats. The only,
That's where I was usually sitting, some of these kids do.
said it's all reserved now. But they sell standing room only tickets.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And to be honest with you, with, the whole bowl being, closed now, it's, you can basically walk around and find a great spot to watch the game from that location, so that's okay, but,
Mm-hmm.
And they said it was sold out at the very top. There was a few empties. I'm sure those people up there went, there's some empty ones that, had moved down.
Empty, or like you say, some of the best is right along that mid-level rail. Just stand
Yeah.
against there, if you get right up against the rail.
east or west, yeah. So you can buy one of those 400 GA and just walk around. I think that's what we did for the Arizona State game. I think that's our plan.
Or did sneeze, huh? Almost.
Almost. Oh,
Just look up.
yeah, stare at the light.
Uh-huh.
My eyes were there. And that's my house. Since they try though. It works in my eyes, but leaves a little scrub in my eyes. Takes a while to get it all worked out in the morning. I got no, my eye doctor saying it's time for exam. Let's wait till allergy season. I know my eyes aren't any good right now. Good point. It wouldn't do me any good to go in there, so I can't see anything right now.
Yeah.
Depending on what time of day it is and how long I've been outside.
You need some rain to knock some of this
Yeah.
stuff down, back down.
And
I
no
said,
last night.
It drizzled just enough yesterday to make things dirty. That's all it did. I'm like, great.
We got mow last night. It was so dry and it was windy and I went in, I didn't eat, I ate enough grass. No, $29. Well, we got the seconds kind of on that.
Derek set that up for
Oh.
us, so we can see exactly.
Let's see how it's.
Just makes me nervous though. A
Got that Europe song in my head. Stop.
Okay. I move the county commission, including Chairman Ford, Vice Chairman McKinley, and Commissioner Cokie, recess into executive session on potential litigation with Bryant Parker, Deputy County Counselor, and Clancy Holman, County Counselor, attorneys for the commission, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship, an exception to the Kansas Open Meeting Act. The open meeting to resume in the county commission chambers at 9:50 a.m.
I would second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the county commission recess into executive session, which will include Chairman Ford, Vice Chairman McKinley, and Commissioner Foki. Potential litigation with Bryant Parker, Deputy County Counselor, and Clancy Holman, County Counselor. Switch that up on us, went deputy first. Look at this. Okay. Attorneys for the commission, which would be deemed a privilege in the attorney-client relationship, an exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act with the open meeting to resume in the commission chamber at 9:50 a.m. All in favor?
Aye.
You, mics and camera are back on.
I move the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session.
I would second that.
Been moved and seconded that the Board of Commissioners come out of executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
I'll move the record reflect actions that we take consistent with the consent that's reached in executive session.
I second that.
Been moved and seconded that the record reflect action shall be taken consistent with the consensus reached in executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
And with that, go ahead, John. Yep.
I'm John Ellerman, Public Works. And this morning I'm going to talk about county surplus auction. As of right now, we have it set up to be on, and I'm not prepared because I just got this yesterday. So we have a bunch of trailers out back and they're all full of excess furniture and equipment that nobody needed anymore once. And we're ready to do another auction. We've inventoried them and you have the list of the items in your packet. Quite a big list from what I've seen.
IT's big one. Yeah.
So we department heads were all notified of the auction on a couple occasions to make sure they had looked around their offices and their places that if they didn't have, if they had any equipment or anything that they wanted to get rid of, now's the time to do that. We will give those same departments the opportunity to go look at what's out in the auction in case they think they needed a desk or something out of it that they didn't realize this was there. And they can do that before the auction starts. So the auction is scheduled for October 16th at 3 o'clock at the Public Works facility. Typically, we have one of the shops open with a bunch of the items, and then along in the parking lot on the east side of the shop area, between the buildings and the fuel. Record Realty has been our auctioneers. Do have the list of items to be sold, and they will be advertised through Record and ourselves. Notice of intent to sell excess personal properties as will be published in Mercury and Raleigh County, and the auction posted Raleigh County website also. So the auctioneers keep 20% of the sales, and we get the rest of it. So we have just to recommend that we have the auction, and we need your approval.
I would make a motion to have the commission approve and sign the notice of intent to sell the excess personal property and contract with Record Realty and Auction LLC to conduct a public auction to be held on October 16th at the Public Works Building.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to have the commission approve and sign the notice of intent to sell excess personal property and the contract with Record Realty and Auction LLC to conduct a public auction. All in favor?
Aye.
All three signed, please. Thanks, John.
Bid high.
I don't, not sure if there's anything there. I really.
I'm just saying that in general. Bid
Well,
high.
yeah, go out there and some out there and bid.
Spend,
everybody
spend,
up.
spend.
That would be good.
Next, Commissioner, you have Gary Fike at 10 o'clock.
You have one vehicles on, I haven't looked at your auction. Can we find that on?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I think there's one, the EMS has their own. Is that Suburban?
What is it?
EMS Suburban, I think he has that scheduled to come on. Usually we put our vehicles in the.
Oh, okay.
We send these. Here are they for you. Oh, those are just for John.
Yep.
Okay, the ones on the back side are for John,
Yay.
plus the front side.
Yay. I'm gonna start charging per signature. That's how I'm gonna make money. Think about retirement, Rich. Come on.
true. We all think about the time.
Another year older means another year of wisdom.
For most people.
Oh,
Go.
walked right into that one. Walked right into that one.
I didn't say you, Commissioner Ford.
You insinuated though, good enough.
Lance, how you doing? Good.
That's going back a ways. Kearns and Houston and Johnson.
Morning, Brian.
Morning, sir.
Oh. Morning, Vern.
Good morning.
Right.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought you guys were moving to a different location, but you're always here still here.
For now, don't jinx us. Okay, I think I got all of them. I'll soon find out.
Thank you.
Maybe this, yeah, I didn't get Lance. I didn't want to drag his.
Throw me under the bus.
Yeah, I did go into the bus early. Well, people out there sitting around the radio, waiting for what it says. Yeah. It's not bad.
Computer things in there, I have no idea what.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, there's a whole list of
Whole
stuff that I have
list
no
of
idea
stuff.
what any of that junk is.
I wonder what they'll do with it. It's, what happens to all the computer stuff. So,
Well, then you got a process where we gotta dispose of it legally, since county property.
If take it to Howie's, I mean, they've got somebody that'll take it
Yeah.
apart.
recycle, they
And a lot of
Take it apart,
times, that's
release the
people that'll
parts.
buy it, you know, they'll buy
They
it.
said the
bulk,
piece that there's stuff in it that's worth.
Valuable.
that There's gold and
chips and stuff like that.
We got that all.
that you guys know how to do it, and take it apart and melt down.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
it will.
There's gotta be a lot of them in there. Yeah, put that list.
No, it starts to spoil that list. Pages we got.
Yeah, I know.
I was interested in the bookcase way back when, and I bought one since,
Yeah. There's a season. When do you say your salaries then? Will. Yeah, when they begin January. Yeah. I try to.
Okay.
I made some salary stuff in our staff. So
Appreciate it.
so we try to get all that stuff.
Okay. Okay, Gary.
And see what's there before we decide on it. Sure. And then that way. So we.
Yeah. Good morning, commissioners.
Morning.
I did want to make a note before I begin. We had a department head meeting on Wednesday and Brian brought coffee for himself and for Clancy. And so I noticed he had an iced coffee from McDonald's. I wondered if he brought you all drinks today. No, he didn't. Okay.
He brought one for Clancy though, so
Yeah.
I wonder about some stuff.
I don't know what's going on there, but it's something.
It's a boss.
He also thinks his job is rather boring, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just can't let it go. Sorry, Brian. I didn't mean to throw you. Yes,
Well
I did.
deserved.
Yeah,
Well deserved.
yeah.
Let's just say that.
Another thing I'd like to mention for the commissioners and for Rich, our extension annual meeting will be held on Wednesday, November 6th. That'll be at the KSU Foundation meeting that evening.
Oh, okay.
And Rock and K's will be catering the meal since they'll give us the first if we order our food from them. So that will be happening on Wednesday, November 6th in the evening. So if you get that date on your calendar, we'd appreciate your all. Of course, welcome and hopefully you'll be able to,
6 o'clock, 7 o'clock?
Yeah, 6-ish.
Okay.
Yeah. You'll get a more formal engraved invitation later.
Engraved.
Great.
Well.
Okay, we'll hold you to that one.
On the top here.
No wonder you need the room
It's the day
for
after
free.
election day.
Maybe an email.
Yeah.
Might check what he's using that private funding for there. Vern.
Right. Which is what we're here to talk about today.
Lead right into that, yeah.
So I'm here to discuss, as I spoke to you last month about private funding of making improvements at the fairground and to back up just a little bit with the Fairgrounds Task Force, they kind of decided to stay where they're at, make improvements. And so since there's probably not going to be tens of millions of dollars, taxpayer dollars, we decided to explore private funding to make those improvements. So what we did was Lance Sharp, who's here as president of the Fair Board, and Bert Hendricks with GMCF, and Dave Lewis, who was on that task force committee too, along with Lance, talked about this whole thing. And Vern, I'm not throwing you totally under the bus, but I am going to say that he did mention that maybe our best chance of raising money was if we moved to a new location and started from ground zero rather than trying to. I don't really want this to come out badly, but it's like putting trying to make a silk purse out of a sows here. So if we can raise that money, which I believe we can, I believe there's money out there that we can do this, is to either relocate out at the public works area, which of course the county owns and is already there. But as Lance has pointed out, he doesn't think that area may be large enough. So we'll also be exploring other areas. So that's kind of a little bit of a background on that. So the location of the Fairgrounds facility obviously is still under review, but I would just like to have Vern and Lance maybe address what we discussed so you hear their point of view and not just me.
You first? Yep. I mean, kind of an aim.
Lance needs to come up front.
One of the things that we talked about is what is the ultimate vision of the fairgrounds? What do we want to do there? And Vern kind of brought that question up too. And is it spend lots of money where we're at now to try to fix it, like Gary was saying, or should we try to relocate, have everything done that way? And so that's where we kind of went with that, is we feel like Dave Lewis and stuff, we feel like ultimately the best solution for us would be to move it and start new, build the buildings how we need to, to be able to facilitate the size of our fair for a long time. Because we're always going to have the parking issues. Now with the city doing their stuff, we're going to have less parking. And so we're getting closed in on. And so we just feel like it's time that we start that long-term vision. Well, and from my perspective, when these kind of projects come up, when you're trying to raise private dollars, nobody wants to see their dollars go one place, and then 5 years later it gets torn down and have to raise private dollars someplace else. So the idea of relocating the fairgrounds, I've been here since '97, and I've heard the relocation of the fairgrounds come up every 5, 6, 7 years. And it's obvious that there is an interest, or there is a possible suggestive thought that that's what should be done. And so I would encourage you all to either figure out that that's really what you want to do, maybe not right now, but if that is the ultimate goal, start planning that direction. And so that at least the, as a taxpayer or citizens, they kind of know that that's the result, rather than just kind of juggling the ball every year. Because if it's talked about every 5 or 7 years, there's interest in every so often. I know the issue is the money. I get that. And but part of my thought process all comes down to is there's also several other groups that are involved in that area, because you've got the school district and you've got the city. And so all of those entities are getting old. We know the ballparks are being renovated, with tax dollars and stuff right now. And Patrick Hall's been a discussion, there's discussions at Bishop Stadium right now. So collectively, from my end, since they all kind of center back on the community foundation for funding in some way, shape, or form, it's like, let's use dollars wisely, tax dollars and private dollars, and let's see where we go. And as I'm from Dixon County, and the fair was a big thing in my life growing up. Dixon County has a great 4-H free fair, and the fair has been good here where it's at. We've enjoyed it every year, but I do believe there's an opportunity, even beyond the fair, as I hear people talk, from your organization and outside, that there might be other activities that can be brought to Manhattan. And now I'm not one that's going to come up here and say, hey, if we build it, there's going to be so much money coming to town, it'll take care of that. I don't subscribe to that issue. I think it makes sense to bring people to town, but the idea that you're going to raise enough money to offset the cost, that's just not going to happen. I've been involved in too many projects, and I'm a little bit more of a common sense kind of approach. And but I do believe from the planning, from a land point of view, even just for the allocation of dollars, I think a serious thought needs to be given to, do we want the fairgrounds, the fair, to be what it is? Or is Manhattan getting bigger? Is there a potential for a better experience for our 4-Hers, for the livestock that are there, even for the state, and doing some stuff here? The community foundation, obviously, we're here for the benefit of the community. So having a fund, no matter what the project is, will certainly be a part of that process. Do we have funds that could be utilized or certainly explored for some funding? Absolutely. Is there an automatic yes? No. I mean, that's a process. We got to see a plan. We got to see the vision and that whole process. But I just encourage you, as I did the committee when we talked, is let's really take a look at this from a holistic perspective, and let's plan for dollars, and both privately and from our taxpayers to make the best experience we possibly can. So I'm open for any questions if you have there. So,
But if you're wanting to raise money for a new facility, you're gonna have to have plans to show somebody.
sure, absolutely.
Right, I mean, that's, if you just want to raise money and saying, yeah, if we get enough, we'll do it. If not, we'll fix this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you'd have to sit down with somebody that, from the convention board and the parties that actually use these facilities, and say, okay, if we're gonna dream, what's the dream?
Because I know there is a plan that was made out there. It was just, I don't know if is that what you need out there, or do you, from that plan?
That plan was from, I'm not sure, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It was from years ago.
And so there's things on there that we.
That don't work.
wouldn't- I mean, well, and it was even, they were gonna house the equestrian team for K-State and stuff like that, so.
So,
That was more of we're bringing people into Manhattan for events and activities. It wasn't just centered around
yeah,
the fair, but
Mhm.
from my perspective, I'm of the opinion that the facilities that minus the location of where we're going or staying put where we're at or moving to a different location, separate conversation, that the facilities that we have they're outdated and they're not worthy of renovating at this point in time. We do need to start over with something new, whether it's at that location or a different location, that's a separate discussion, but we do need new facilities to make that work, so.
You know, and that's where I come in with my comments. If you're gonna spend money.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a little deeper dive and let's spend it in the right place.
Correct.
There's nothing that makes me more frustrated than to spend money and then turn around and tear it up and relocate it somewhere else.
And I feel, we've had that discussion about Ottawa Falls and need of some renovations and we don't really know.
all the
if
other,
it's-
even the other
Yeah.
buildings,
Yeah.
the ag buildings, everything out there is.
And even if
They
you
did.
decide to stay there, if it works, I mean, I think the city's county school district, when that was developed, that was probably a nice plan. Everybody could throw a little money into it, but it does. In
It
my
was
view,
outside
right
of
now, it
town.
makes it pretty cumbersome for anybody to do anything and because you gotta get everybody on the same page. So, and if it is decided to stay there, then I think the entities at large need to figure out, okay, if we want this, maybe not the exact location it is now is the right place in the overall plan, so maybe that needs to be reconfigured, so.
Go ahead, Catherine.
Well, I was wondering, Lance, have you ever reconfigured the property that we have over there at Seco? Because it's bigger than the other two entities and.
Yeah.
Do we have a plan on that? Because there's a lot of space out there that's.
Of the current place that we're at.
Yeah,
Because
the current
that was
place.
something with talking about if we didn't move, that we could reconfigure it and have a lot more space. Because if you map it out, it's about 26 acres, counting the gravel parking lot where the pool is, counting the parking lot up north that we have there. And so you could, reconfigure that a lot differently and have a lot more space. But yeah, you're gonna be tearing down the buildings and
Yeah.
Mhm.
and redoing that, because like Jackson County, they did one building for all their livestock. You have a show ring in the middle, and then the livestock's outside of it, so they have one building for that, another building that would be like a Potroff of kind of their community building, and that's all that they have, and then an outdoor arena. And that's kind of what we were talking, like, phase one, that would be, those three essentials would be what we would need up there. And, then plenty of parking spots and stuff, so.
Yeah, because I know like the sled hill and, a lot of that area up in there is just not utilized, so. So that's one thing I'd like to, so.
I think as we kind of vision and plan this thing out, I think, maybe a plan A is staying put and maybe a plan B is what it might look like at a different location, and it gives us a chance to kind of vision in separate directions there. And I think that's perfectly okay. So go ahead, Rich.
How much acreage is out there at the shop site? Do we know?
It's right at about 40 acres.
40 acres.
Is what you guys have.
And I would probably disagree that that's not a good location. I think it's a great location. Actually, the intent that land was purchased for. But, I've served with many commissions. This has come up many times. Actually, so yeah, I've served with at least, 8 commissions. So, there is another plan out there besides the horse arena one prior to that Rod Meredith had developed, and it actually had, I'm sure you got it in your file somewhere, we do, and he actually envisioned he was big into motocross stuff and he had like a motocross track and everything, so that land would be available for this type of thing. But Bob Newsom used to talk about, when the current fairgrounds was put in place, people griped and complained to no end. It was so far out of town. It would never be used. The fairgrounds was so far out of town. Lance, you and I live out that direction. Commissioners, there is development like crazy going out that direction. I think it's a prime location. The county put up our own money to put those extra lanes in just for the shops. You go somewhere else, you're going to have a traffic problem with big trucks and trailers. I've thought for 15 years, where we're at now is like a square peg in a round hole. And there's better uses in our community from the other two entities for that land. But these guys and you have to decide what's
Well,
best.
here's my challenge with the shop site, and I don't disagree with your premise, but at some point in time, we're gonna have to expand our own services from a county perspective into the future, and where do we go with that? Getting land, getting infrastructure, doing all those things, very, very difficult. It's very, very difficult to work with people in that rural setting for those things. We already own and have that property for that particular purpose.
Yeah,
No offense, I love the fair and I love the activities, but our services kind of take a priority over that because those are on a daily basis, whereas there's a week or so and then some other activities that go on.
A lot of other activities.
And a lot of other activities that go on throughout the year, but so that's what either this commission or another commission is gonna have to decide at some particular point in time. So I'm of the opinion that if we move, that location may not be the best location. We may need to figure out someplace else for the long term so that we get total benefit. So that, and I have thought about that deeply.
And my only comment with no actual background or knowledge, but I only go by the history of hearing this group talk. If somewhere, sometime in the past, that location was identified, you know, I think at some point in time, you all have to embrace that spot. Now, maybe this is the group, and then the following group members of you embrace your thought, because it's the other one's an old thought. But at some point in time, you can wait and wait and wait and wait forever.
Mhm.
And then why did we spend the money as a taxpayer to just have that land to mow it? So that to me is a poor use of funds, and I get the expansion possibility. I like the vision of that from that standpoint. And but then I also retroactively look back at the fact that the fairgrounds, we're not doing anything to enhance the fairgrounds that we have.
Yeah.
No.
Because it is constricted by the other two entities, and so there's always an equal and opposite in everything, and that's to me why it's like, let's be, what's the vision here for 20-25 years, and what is the best, you know, in this land use of Manhattan, the recreation aspects, you know, the fairgrounds. I'm an old farm boy, so the idea of having a good 4-H fair is awesome to me, and the potential of actually, because this same thing is being talked about in cities, counties, communities all around Kansas. And so if we, in some ways, can put something together, we might be a model for others, as well as we might be an attraction for others. I don't know the motocross entertainment community or the livestock or equine entertainment community. I don't know what their needs are, but it would be really interesting to know. We've heard some things, but is there something that meets that benchmark of how many hotels have to be in a town, or how much square footage a arena has to have, or how many stalls you have to, for trailer parking you have to have? What is that component before we get into this kind of thing? And let's ask some questions. We may be sitting on a little bit of a gold mine we don't even know about. So just some thoughts.
Well, the good news is we are just right on the precipice of
yeah.
starting some strategic planning. And
Sure.
obviously, space and facilities is the largest part of that discussion, and obviously this is part of that discussion too. So we're right on that precipice. So it's coming.
Well, and I'd say an excited group of individuals that are really interested in talking about the vision of this community in a big picture way. And that only gets done by no personal agendas, no skin at the table, so to speak, and who's forward, open thinking, and think of the whole rather than an individual part. And so I think there's going to be some of that starts developing much before too long, because I, for one, think Manhattan is thought very small and very immediate way too often. Sometimes we don't get the maximum bang out of the buck that we should. So.
Now, Bern, I was going to ask you, you know, procedure wise, whatever we decide, what do we need to do to be a community?
With the community foundation?
Yeah.
Well, that's real easy. I mean, we just asked for $1,000 and a fund agreement that says, okay, who's the responsible party to spend this money? And that's a 5-minute process to fill out. So.
Okay, it's
setting
not
up-
like we have to do an endowment.
No.
Fund.
Matter of fact, you don't want to endow any money because you want to use your money.
Okay.
And I'd love to see you have the opportunity someday to create an endowment, which you could refer to, but generally that comes, when he passes and leaves you his $100 million estate, well, we'll be in good shape then, so.
Yeah.
We're sitting on $100 million, you're not honest about it? I carry.
I kept it under.
Yeah, I know that some institutions have to come
But
up with.
you don't want to make money,
endowments. Right.
because endowment philosophy is you're going to spend 4% of the money so that it keeps
going.
pace with inflation and you need to use that money bigger. You're endowing the money in its activities that you're creating for the community by spending it. So, but yeah, as far as us setting up a fund, no matter what we do in the early stage, that's very easy to do. And, we just have all the money that goes from the community foundation has to go to a charitable purpose. And everything you're talking about has that in play at this point in time. So that's not a problem.
Okay.
And, but yeah, we're, some of you may have heard, we're the 87th largest community foundation in the nation now, and we're the 9th fastest growing. So our assets are north of 375 and the clock keeps ticking. And so it's, we're only going to get bigger. Now, those funds aren't our discretionary funds and some of them are endowed funds. So we're kind of a fund to fund. So those fund holders, those donor advised funds or select funds will have to decide that if they want to support a project like this, that might be the case, but those are all individual discussions that we would have to facilitate. So.
Okay, great.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate you.
Okay.
Very good.
Vern, Vern,
Director.
Vern,
Appreciate it.
Vern. Are you gonna be in your office? I've got some questions about the rural Riley family.
There's your first $100 million right there.
Already?
Yeah.
Are you gonna be around later?
Yeah, they just had a great match day and,
Yeah, I know, that. I've just got some questions about some stuff
yeah,
up there.
it's awesome. So,
Okay,
I'll be
come
there. I've got Rotary at noon, but I'll be there between now and then. So.
Oh, okay,
All right.
thank you.
Go ahead, sir.
Good morning, County Commissioner. Mr. Vargo, sir.
Good morning.
Parker. Brian Peak with Riley County Police Department. I will, just wanted to go over, what our monthly, crime statistics were for September. I'm sorry, for August. And, then also just provide the county just a little bit of an update as to, some of the things that are going on. So for our part 1 crime, in August, we were actually about 19% below the 5-year average. Year to date, we're down about 21% from the 5-year average. In August, both part 1 violent and property crimes were below the 5-year average. For part 1 violent crimes, we were 5.6 below the 5-year average. Year to date, crime is down for part 1 violent crimes, 12% from the 5-year average. There were 13 aggravated assaults or batteries. Unfortunately, 2 rapes, 1 robbery, 0 homicides were reported for the month of August 2024. There was 1 robbery reported in August, which is just right at the 5-year average. Year to date, we're down 51% from the 5-year average in robberies. For aggravated assaults and batteries, there were 6 aggravated assaults with 7 aggravated assaults reported during the month of August. This is about 2% above the 5-year average. 4 of the incidents in August were domestic related. And as of September 9th, there were arrests in 5 of those incidents. For August, part 1 property crimes, they were down 21% from the 5-year average. Crime to date is about 23% below the 5-year average of property crimes. Property crimes for last month included 5 burglaries, 15 larcenies from motor vehicles, 10 auto thefts, 0 arson incidents. The rest of the incidents were larcenies of a total of 59. For structural burglaries, we were about 40% below the 5-year average for the month of August. 2 of those burglaries were non-residential, 5 were residential. All of them occurred within Manhattan and none in the county. For vehicle burglaries, for the month of August, we were about 34% below the 5-year average. Of the 15 burglaries, 10 of the vehicles have been left unlocked and 2 contained a firearm. 2 firearms in total were stolen from those vehicles. For motor vehicle thefts, they increased with a 43% change. 7 of the motor vehicles have been recovered as of the 9th of this month. And the number of DUIs for August were 2% below the 5-year average for August, which is good news. However, DUIs year to date are roughly 2% above the 5-year average. So we're going to be doing obviously a lot more focus and attention on our traffic, as well as, paired with the education piece with the community. The number of traffic accidents in 2024 was 16% above the 5-year average. And for preventable traffic accidents, the number of preventable traffic accidents in August was about 30% above the 5-year average. Numbers obviously may change as we do corrections. So as I mentioned before, traffic continues to be something that we know it's a community concern. It long has been a community concern. So we're going to be looking again at our enforcement efforts and our educational campaigns is how we're conducting those. Looking at just to give the just another shout out. Captain Aaron Friedline was promoted to the position of assistant director. And then as of yesterday, the promotion to our new captain for support will be Brad Ingles. So Brad Ingles has been promoted to captain. We're looking at putting folks in play someplace around early November. And then having roughly about a month and a half, we'll figure in December is going to obviously be a holiday month for a lot of folks. So then we'll have over a month, maybe a month and a half of transferring of knowledge and experience as assistant director Kurt Muldrup retires out, which will be January 1st of next year. Yes, sir.
And then the other captains are kind of shifting to different positions within that structure too, correct?
Yes, sir. So we'll make that at the same time we do that promotion cycle, probably again around the 1st of November. Captain Yeager will be moving to investigations. Captain Steer will be moving to administration. Again, Brad Ingles will be going to support. Captain French will stay downstairs. And Captain Hayek will be moving over to patrol.
Okay.
So again, with that, we will be beginning our promotional processes from sergeant to lieutenant. That will be happening next week. Shortly after that, it will be from corporals to sergeants and then officers to corporal positions. So for the next month, our department will be there will be a lot of anxiety. A lot of folks, it's going to be a very difficult time because we have we have a huge cadre of people who have very, very strong leadership abilities and they're very, very sound in what they do. So it's going to be exciting, but at the same time, it's also bittersweet with how those things work. And then just to give the county a quick heads up. So our ADP is roughly sitting at about 123, I believe. As of yesterday, we only had one with the entire facility in our corrections facility. We only had one bed, if you will, open. So we're buying cots right now to put into the APOD. So just again, giving that notification up. We're hoping we're doing everything we can with the county, with officers, in offenses that we're looking at that are bondable, working on those different types of things. So that being said, our facility needs have expounded again, and I'm not trying to put the pressure, but I'm just putting it out there that our dispatch and our IT sections have been overgrown to the point now that I'll be looking at feasibility studies for IT to move where we have those bathrooms at. Upstairs, that there's just one small room that we would meet with individuals of the public. Gonna have to look at what funds we have available to wall that off and put a new IT section in there for equipment and other things to that effect, as well as expand out a little bit more internally within the dispatch center. Then the last bit I want to bring out there is our we're going to be beginning our budgeting process. early, obviously, as we always do, but the first things I'm looking at are obviously the biggest expenditures within our department that are non-personnel costs. And that's gonna primarily revolve around our IT section. And again, and the technology aspect of it, existing contracts. The biggest funding items that we have, we're gonna be looking at, I'll be looking at closely. So hopefully, again, like we did last year, looking at internal budgets, how we can configure existing dollars and put them more wisely to use. And my whole hopeful goal is, this time, as we work with what the law board has asked us to do, looking at the SRO positions, again, consolidating contracts, everything to that effect. My hope is the budget, please don't quote me on this one, but my aim is to come to the law board with a very, I want to be significantly low within the six figures. Significantly low within the six figures. So that's I don't want to say anything too early. I have a plan and a hope. But one of the constant things that I hear is just as much as you all do, is how much people are struggling with, especially as it comes to terms with taxes. Everyone always asks the cost of government and the price of government. We are public safety. Yes, we should be a priority, but that doesn't mean that we need to make sure that we're utilizing that to an advantage, that we're asking for more money each and every year. Just this morning, again, I spoke to an individual from the community, dropping my daughter off at school, and he had mentioned to me that, hey, there's a house that's getting ready to go up over there. Do you have any idea for sale? Do you have an idea how much it's going to be? And we took a few guesses at it, and the first thing he said was, damn, there go our tax dollars. All of our tax dollars are gonna increase again. So again, that's on the forefront of everyone's mind, and it's not just indicative. It's indicative of all in public service to look at ways to try to reduce costs. So hopefully, we're going to be sharpening a lot of pencils within the organization and trying to bring something to the law board that's going to be very much easily swallowable. For our taxpayers. Other than that, I stand ready for any questions. Oh, I'm sorry, one last thing. The department is having its community night out, October 10th. And that will be at Seco Park. It's starting at 7 o'clock. It's gonna be more of a carnival theme. We'll have the barbecue trailer out there, a lot of games, bouncy houses for the kids, for families. So again, that's what the whole hope is. So I just want to encourage everybody within the community to come out.
I don't have any questions. Okay. Thanks, sir.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you very much. Okay, Russell, you're up next.
Morning, Commissioners, Russell Stuckey, County Fire. As we've talked a lot, we have one fire station left to go in the fire station replacement program that was started well before me. We've had several different discussions. The direction that you've given me is to get it done and get it done as soon as possible, in person and on evaluations and everything. So I have all that information I put in there. If you want me to read it to you, I can. I see you've already read it. So basically the two options to move forward are the formal bid process or just do a contract with the previous contractor that went through the process, and that will trim 30 to 45 days off the formal bid process. So just looking for direction on what the commission would like for me to do.
I'm ready to get it done.
Yeah, it needs to be done.
We're well behind. I mean, we got Ashland done, but I mean, handful of years behind on this. Nothing you've done is just circumstance, but
Oh, yeah, and the question came up on this procurement code, and we'd have to waive that. How often have we done that in the past?
It's been done from time to time.
Yeah.
It has in extenuating circumstances.
and I consider this to be one of those circumstances. I typically wouldn't probably do this, but considering that we also have ARPA funds that we need to start allocating towards something before the end of the year. timing's pretty good for this. We're using it for emergency services and for infrastructure that's gonna be in place well past our lifetime.
Yeah.
I have no issues with both of those.
Well, because when you bid it, actually, we got bids for both of them, to begin with, and just said, we may or may not be able to do both of them, and at that time, we didn't.
Oh,
So,
yeah, that's right.
That's right.
so in effect, I mean.
We did bid.
We're not sitting from scratch,
Right.
it's something they knew about to begin with, when we did it the first time.
Do you have any idea what, increases might come about with
They talked about around 4 3/4%.
maybe 4 3/4, which is reasonable?
Yeah. Keeping up with current inflation, so go ahead, Rich.
So the board has previous priorities with ARPA funds that we don't know at this point in time if we have enough ARPA funds for those. So, well, there's no guarantee. We don't even know what the facility is gonna cost for renovation. So I'm just saying, if we fund this, it goes ahead of those. And so if we have a shortfall, we'll have to go to CIP or you fund this out of CIP. So there's funding available.
We got a ARPA interest.
Correct,
Yeah.
but we still don't have a full picture on all of that, so just want the board to be aware, it either has to come from ARPA or CIP. Or, if this is funded first, then one of those projects that isn't
Yeah.
finished up is going to have to, so you just have to be aware of that.
Well, when are we gonna get the ARPA summary? Because we had asked for that.
Brittany's working on that. Well,
Yeah.
Brittany has to rely on getting figures from other people too, so we can put that picture together.
I'd like to get an idea on when that could happen.
Because like I say, we have to have it before the end of the year, we need to.
And I think you're aware Brittany's been busy on a few other projects,
Yeah. It's not the only project.
like full time.
Yeah, well,
I'm actually okay with doing this out of ARPA and doing some of the other stuff out of CIP.
Yeah.
It's either or.
It's because it's
Mhm.
consistent with what we've been doing with ARPA already, and it's
yeah,
facilitating facilities and
Facilities.
infrastructure for emergency services. So it's consistent with that. So I'm okay with putting this ahead of that and then funding the back end with CIP if that's what we need to do. If that makes sense.
And we're okay with going ahead with the existing,
Yes.
negotiating with the
Yes.
existing contract.
okay, yeah.
I know that there's a formal bid process and we really should stick to that, but to me, this is an extenuating circumstance, given the process. We don't get an opportunity to do too much with our fire services. And I don't want you guys to come back every year with a 14% increase. I'd make that. So it checks off all those boxes. And I'm okay. And I expect that last part next year, so just so you're aware. Okay.
Well, this would help that great.
Exactly.
And I just formed the motions on what you
Yeah.
guys had indicated. So
Sure.
if you wanted it somebody different, obviously you have the opportunity to change that.
No, those work good for me too, so. Of course, I'm gonna let somebody else make that motion.
Yeah.
Whose
Okay.
turn is it, yours?
Okay, yeah, does this motion, or do we need? Go back to the procurement thing, do we have to do a separate vote for that?
That
Waive
first
the
motion, I
requirement.
think,
Covers it.
covers it.
Okay, I just wanna make sure.
Yeah. Mhm.
Put that, we got it. Yeah, I'd move to approve waiving the formal bid process and initiate negotiations for a contract with local builder Riley Construction, who previously participated in the formal bidding process and successfully built Station 102 to construct Station 110 and University Park be paid for with ARPA funds.
I would second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve waiving the formal bid process and initiate negotiations for a contract with local builder Riley Construction. Previously participated in the formal bidding process and successfully built Fire Station 102 to construct Fire Station 110 in University Park to be paid for with ARPA funds. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Thank you, commissioners. We'll work on get the contract put together and get it back to you as soon as possible.
Okay, look forward to a groundbreaking and gonna be a rough groundbreaking up there, but we'll get it done.
Yeah.
Rock breaking.
A rock breaking's more like.
Bring a pickaxe.
Have any other questions for me?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
One thing's for sure, you'll have a good solid foundation.
Yes, it's very true. It's very true. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank
Next
you.
commissioner, you have Shiloh Hager at 10:40.
And while both of you are here, Eileen King wanted me to tell you hello.
Yeah, good,
Okay.
good.
Saw her the other night.
Yeah, I run into her every once in a while. It's been a while though since I've seen her.
Yeah, she hasn't popped in.
ran into her and Doug both at the same time. So.
Mm-hmm.
I saw her 4 years ago when I was campaigning. It's been a long time.
Okay, go ahead.
All right.
Yeah.
Shiloh Hager, Riley County Treasurer. I don't always like to have to come and admit that I've done something wrong, but in this case, you know, transparency is best. So, so as you know, we received money, for alcohol sales within the county. There's two types of receipts that can be received from a county. One is for establishments within a city with a population of less than 6,000, and the other is for sales of alcohol within the county by caterers that have applied for a permit and those kind of things. And if you look at the spreadsheet that I provided, you can see that I went back as far as 2017, and the alcohol money that we received based on the county population has typically been very small. And I got hired as the accountant for the county 20 years ago. And going back even that far, the alcohol money since I've been here has all just gone into the special alcohol fund. Well, recently I had a county treasurer contact me because she was being questioned by her auditor about her alcohol money. And so I pulled ours and started rereading the statute. And I've noticed over the last few years that those alcohol monies have really increased. And so I pulled the forms and reread the statute, and lo and behold, we've been doing it wrong for some time. The alcohol sales that are based on the county population per the statute are to be divided in thirds. A third goes to special alcohol, a third goes to county general, and a third goes into a special parks and recreation fund. That hasn't been done for some time. I did speak to Rich, and I did go back and I pulled out the old green general ledger files going.
She didn't find the ones where I'd use hammer and check.
Or the abacus. Yeah. I did go back and and I had to go back pretty far to find where we did do an alcohol distribution back into special parks and rec. Okay. So I contacted the auditor to kind of see how they would recommend us fixing this. And he says, you know, as you can see here back in 2017, you know, we're talking, you know, $300, 2018, $22. So he didn't think I needed to go back much further. So what I am asking, and he thought it would be best if I came to the commissioner and get approval to make these transfers. And so what I am going to be doing is transferring $14,221.40 into county general and $14,221.40 into special parks and recreation. And then going forward, we will obviously do it correctly. Yeah. We got the September distribution today and I allocated it correctly. So, and so I did speak to Megan Lewis up in Community Corrections, just so she is aware. At the time that I prepared this, there was a balance in that special alcohol fund of $33,981. Even after making those two transfers, that leaves a balance of $5,500, plus there's still two more distributions that will go into that fund. And they typically only expend that alcohol money once a year, and it's usually in the springtime. So we have plenty of time to get that built back up. And we will start getting a Parks and Rec fund build up for maybe some future uses that the commission might have for
Fairgrounds.
That's what I wondered.
It's all solved now.
Well, 20 years from now.
We don't have a special, I mean, is a restriction, or what is that special parks? Are there
The-
restrictions
what
on
the-
what it's used
What
for?
the statute says, it says monies in the Special Parks and Recreation Fund may be expended only for the purchase, establishment, maintenance, or expansion of park and recreational services, programs, and facilities.
So everything in a park,
Anything, yeah, basically,
including building a new one.
yeah, okay.
I do apologize that it's gone.
Can we start an education campaign and get people to drink more so we can get more?
No
Yeah,
doubt.
that'd go over big.
Well, the whole purpose of the special
Where's Vivian?
alcohol
She back
fund
there
is
somewhere?
Well,
is to
you
help
you
with
probably already made the headline. Commissioner Ford recommended.
Like I said, I will fall on the old adage. It's always been done that way and it just didn't, the dollars have not been significant up until recently with some of these new establishments, Liquid Art Winery, A&H Farms. There, a lot of these are having big functions and alcohol sales have definitely increased, so within the county. So I'm glad that we've caught this now, and like I said, it'll be correct going forward, but I'll be happy to answer any other questions that you might have.
Just need a motion, commissioners.
Okay, well, I would make a motion that the county commission approve the transfer of special alcohol funds as presented.
Second,
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. The Board of County Commissions approve the transfer of the special alcohol funds as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Good.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Good catch, Shiloh. Thank you. Yeah.
You know what I'm doing tonight?
you're gonna go contribute. Well, it's not in Manhattan, but that's we have.
Oh, we can do that. That's
On
fine.
up, there's.
Yeah.
And don't they
Drive up
have
to-
the Thursday night thing in the city? Don't they have that tonight?
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah, but this has to be out in the county. It can't be.
Oh,
out.
These
can't be in
funds
the
get-
ci- oh, okay.
The ones in here go to the city.
Right.
Alcohol sales
Yeah.
here go to Kennedy. Oh, they're in.
Maybe we don't have to worry about windows. They're gonna tear this building down before we get to it. Jeez.
My office is just making the strange noises in here. I don't know if you've gotten those.
Yeah.
problems. This morning.
Sound like they're digging underneath them. They're hitting something.
Actually, they kind of were, because the meter, I think, was right in between you.
Oh,
Is that
They
where?
replaced the meters.
like I say, it sounded like they're right under my.
Yeah, they're
under my
doing a lot.
glass.
Like, I'll go out in the county somewhere, buy it, whatever.
The way you think.
You know, the postal places, there's dragging their old brush.
Gotta be out in the county.
But anyway, Bagville room.
Oh, yeah. True. Very true. So I got my new driver's license
Uh-huh.
on Tuesday.
Uh-huh.
Just out of curiosity, I compared it to my old driver's license.
Someone made a comment to me about you the other
It
day.
was probably Cindy.
No, it
Oh.
was Jason Smith.
Oh, yeah, I looked at that and I'm like, it's not the same person. It's just.
He's like, I saw John at a meeting the other day and he's like half of him there.
Yeah, yeah, that's right, yeah. Yeah, they're still going. But I just looked at that and I thought, oh my gosh. You just don't, I mean, you don't
So,
see it on the.
if your
everyday
ears were
basis.
burning, we were talking about you.
Yeah. I do feel and work a lot better. I haven't seen my problems I used to have with the knees and ankles just aren't there anymore, so it's really good. So, you know.
Yeah. In 5 minutes.
Some fresh air.
Yeah, so this is what it's like, yeah, you're probably cool.
You've been missing out.
I have good.
I don't remember both of them. One was in November.
Power?
Yeah.
I never had that.
Horrible timing for that extension meeting.
Oh, yeah, for you, definitely.
The-
What was the other?
This report, yeah. Nobody wants to join.
I mentioned two meetings this morning. What was the second?
Thanksgiving, yeah.
What second
I
one?
wish they rerun.
Extension meeting on the sixth and we had something else. Didn't
They did it.
If we did, I missed it. Sorry.
Yeah.
What is the end?
It'll be for-
Oh, unless you're talking about Pete's, the thing, the carnival type thing.
we? Oh, October 10th. Yeah, you got it. That's what it was. A national night out.
National Night Out.
That was about.
Yeah, 30, sure.
Right,
We said 30 minutes. Yeah.
I don't remember. I don't even know that we talked about how long.
Something like that, or 20,
I think 20.
20.
Yeah.
That's the rest of my September. Not even getting into October yet.
Four meetings in those 5 days. Sometimes I don't have meetings then.
Yeah.
You did that all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't feel so bad. I don't feel so bad now, but I'll give you that instead.
You said you're gonna like 20 minutes.
I like it. Apparently not very- Yes.
You stealing signs, Bowler?
I thought that'd be more John's. These are baseball.
Oh, sure, it's up here. Big John Atlanta fan. John, are you Atlanta fan?
Yes.
I saw a game last week. They
Really?
lost to Cincinnati. It was a makeup game with Cincinnati. But
Oh, you guys see a game at Tourist Park, huh?
yeah, it was nice.
Is it? Have they got the parking transportation issue figured out?
I have no idea.
Hmm,
We bought a parking spot
yeah.
and we got there early because we were worried about traffic. We pull up there and they let us in.
Really?
They're all coned off. I'm like, what the hell? I mean, I'm kind of anxious and freaking out anyways. We went around the corner. I stopped traffic and asked, how did we get in there? Oh, not till 5:30.
Gotcha, okay,
But yeah, you almost can't tell that the ballpark's there.
yeah.
It-
Yeah, it fits in an entertainment district there, and the entertainment district was there already when they built the stadium, and that's why they made a push to put it out in North Cobb County instead of anywhere downtown, so. I mean, Turner Field wasn't really that old, but it was never designed for baseball, it was designed for the Olympics in '96, and they turned it
Where
into
was
baseball.
Turner Field?
Just off of downtown there.
Is that same area as Mercedes-Benz Stadium?
Yeah, it's kind of just up the road from there a little bit, but
Yeah, that's all, that was all right there with our,
Centennial Park
Yeah.
area,
with
yeah,
our conference.
Yeah.
location.
yeah.
Pretty nice
Felt
area.
good.
Yeah, they've done a good job of rebuilding that down there, but. But parking was the issue up there when they built the stadium as typically is, so.
This one does, another chair.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mike Bowler with the Noxious Weed Department Council Hazardous Waste. Before you this morning with a request to fill a position. A longtime employee of 26 years has recently announced his retirement effective the 27th of this month. So we're very happy for him and his family. He's earned a retirement and it's decided it's the right time for him. So I'm before you this morning to ask for the ability to replace that position. I've outlined several things that position is responsible for, which there's a lot more that goes into it other than just your commercial applicator. What I'd like to point out what we do in that position is a lot of roadside maintenance. So we're actually a big part of making sure the roads in our county are within code and operational. That includes roadside mowing, seeding the shoulders. We also help with snow removal in the winter time. And then, of course, statutorily, we're responsible here at the county to treat noxious weeds on ground that's owned by the county. We also contract with the state and townships to do that. In addition to that, this position also helps in our HHW facility, and we do different things like help deliver the election equipment. And frankly, any other position or need of the county, we're happy to do that as well. So suffice it to say, this is what I would consider an essential position. It's one of three in the Noxious Weed Department that are responsible for roadside maintenance and some of the things that I've outlined for you. This is a budgeted item that we budgeted, and frankly, the replacement will not be at the level that the outgoing employee was. So this will actually be somewhat of a decrease in budget moving forward. So I'm before you this morning to ask for permission to approve this position, which is certainly essential to the county and the responsibilities that we have.
I'm gonna say I saw, it wasn't ours, it was the state highway along 24. Last week, I saw someone driving, they're on a slope like this, their phone like this. While they were, I thought, holy cow.
Yeah, that's unfortunate to hear that. It's obviously,
I thought, that's a position, I mean, that's not an easy thing, mowing those things.
the state, I won't tell you the stat, how frequently they actually roll tractors. It's not my place to mention that, but suffice it to say, you need to be paying attention to what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like I say, knock on wood, we haven't had that, but unfortunately, I've been in a tractor where the entire front tire came off the ground.
I mean, even if you're paying attention, it's
Absolutely.
hard to keep those things on there, but they were sitting there. I mean, you could see as you drove, came up, you could see it, they had it held up here, looking at something on their phone while they're trying.
Well, that's part of it.
When
we go to fill this position, that is one of the things that we like to emphasize, that we operate tractors on 15 and 20% grades. We also go up in boom trucks 40 feet off the ground and trim trees. So it's one of those things when we go through the applicants, it's one of those things I like to ask, are you feel that you're going to be comfortable doing this? And we have had applicants before that came close to rolling a tractor and came to my office and said, that's it. You do bring that plan up, but
Like I said, it's not an easy job.
no, sir, it is not. So, but it is an important job to fill.
Yes.
You want me to?
Yeah.
Okay, I would make a motion to approve to fill the position of commercial pesticide applicator.
Second,
Been moved and seconded to approve the filling of the position of commercial pesticide applicator. All in favor?
Aye.
All three, please sign.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Michael. Next, commissioners, you have John Ellerman at 11. 30 seconds.
No, actually, it's 11.
No, it's 11. I'm sorry. You're late. Sit down.
No out-of-state request for you.
Well, okay, no, he'll be disappointed, very disappointed. So I think last week, late the week before, APWA local chapter had held the annual snow rodeo. And Eric Ziegenhardt again took first place in the motor grader division and in the loader division. And he is asked to go to Loveland, Colorado to participate in the snow rodeo, and we'll put him through a couple classes in the conference too. But unfortunately, that's next week, if you. But, so, yeah, that's what we're asking for, is to send Eric to Loveland to participate in the APWA snow conference and the snow rodeo in Loveland. I do have, we had a couple others, guys participating, did fairly well in the event. Eric, of course, first place in the motor grader and the loader. Rory Kazad took second place in the motor grader. Albert Lee was third place in the motor grader. And then Albert and Eric teamed up in the truck portion of that and took third place. So we had a few guys, a couple new ones participate and did fairly well. APWA pays $1,000 for entry fees for the rodeo portion for the first place.
We're gonna have some mighty good graded roads out there.
We should, yes.
how long has he been with the county?
What was Eric's been here? 10, maybe longer than that now. Yeah, they really, I can't tell you how long for sure.
I assume he was a long time operator.
Riley County's had a long string. Roger Nelson used to go to this year after year after year and just clean up.
Oh.
Mhm. And first place.
And Eric's had a good record the last, at least the 4 years I've been, 3 of the 4 years he's taken first. I think my first year we didn't send him, the second year he didn't place, and last year, this year we sent him to Colorado. And I'm not so sure out of 50, 60 participants, he was in the top 20 in the events he participated.
I move to approve the out-of-state travel request.
I would second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the out-of-state travel request in the Public Works Department. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair, please sign.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. Last on the agenda, commissioners, you have Mr. Holman in executive session at 11:05.
Didn't we already have an executive session? We're only supposed to have one a day.
That's up to you. It's a fine one other vote.
I know what we're
Yeah.
bringing out everybody. We've got a, just look up.
Must be a thing this morning.
I guess, must be something in the air.
Just floating around in here.
These guys out back stirring up all that dirt.
Oh, John, you need to stick around for this one.
I'm not sure.
Has to do with the out-of-state request.
Last year, Eric shared video of his competition in the
Oh.
snowplow rodeo and it was, or the snow rodeo. It's very intense. They go with a big bucket, knock the tennis ball off of the cone and knock the cone over and all these obstacle courses and it's really neat. Pick up something small with a big bucket and that's it.
There was some that used to have to pick up an egg without breaking it and move it, and Roger would do it. He would tell stories.
Me, I just take out a whole building and go, yes. And on that
Okay.
note.
I move the county commission, including Chairman Ford, Vice Chairman McKinley, and Commissioner Foki, recess into executive session on potential litigation with Clancy Holman, County Councilor, and Brian Parker, Deputy County Councilor, attorneys for the commission, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship. The exception to the Kansas Open Meeting Act. The open meeting resumed in the county chambers at 11:25 a.m. Rich Fargo, County Clerk, Elizabeth Ward, Human Resource Director, Brittany Phillips, Budget and Finance Officer will be present during a portion of the executive session to provide factual information.
I would second that.
It's been moved and seconded that the county commission recess into executive session, which will include Chairman Ford, Vice Chairman McKinley, and Commissioner Foki on potential litigation with Clancy Holman, County Councilor, Bryant Parker, Deputy County Councilor, attorneys for the commission, which should be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship, exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act, and the open meeting to resume in the commission chamber at 11:25 a.m. All in favor?
Aye.
audio and video are back on, everything is live.
I move the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session.
I'll second that.
To move and seconded, the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Move the record reflect action should be taken consistent with the consensus reached in executive session.
I would second that.
It's been moved and seconded. The record reflect action shall be taken consistent with the consensus reached in executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, commissioners. And under the wire.
That was the last agenda item.
Formal part of the agenda.
This morning. Yes, I have no other business. I know we've got one other piece of business.
Yes, sir, we do, Mr. Ford, so pick your poison.
Oh, no. You're starting with Clancy this morning.
Well, see, according to one commissioner, and I think I probably have support from probably at least one more, it doesn't matter what he says, he's not winning again. So we'll let him play along.
It'll make you feel important. Man, I got a weird feeling about this game. 6.5 is the spread. But man, it's Saturday night, it's 9:30.
Higher altitude.
Yeah, BYU's not bad. I mean,
I heard they're big, so I also just
they're
heard a
big
comment,
up
they're
front
a
on
big
both
team.
lines, yeah. Kind of slow though. I don't think they're gonna
Slow.
react good against our speed, but I think it's gonna be closer than we think. I don't think we covered the spread. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go. I don't know.
You're gonna have to know pretty soon.
Well, yeah. All right. I'm gonna go, maybe we do cover this, but I'm gonna go 34-28.
Okay, Greg.
I got 35-14. I think we're gonna keep rolling. The defense is
Okay. I
doing
just
that this year.
kind of worry about the altitude, the time, and it's a road game. We're still a young team.
Catherine.
Oh, I don't know. I just pulled some numbers out of the air. 39-33. Cats.
That'd be a shootout. Okay,
Yeah.
Mr. Hall, it doesn't really matter, but
There's no conversing, because it's gonna be a boring score anyway.
38-24.
38-24.
Obviously.
I went 24-21.
Okay.
Sitting in a big chair.
Yeah, Brian, what do you
Oh,
got?
I have two lawyers.
No.
Oh, my gosh.
Don't, it doesn't matter, neither one's gonna win.
I'm thinking, we win 42-35. It'll be a.
That'd be a shootout. That'd be a
Yeah.
shootout.
You have a pretty decent.
If so, there's probably a bunch of Kansas kids that can have oxygen on the side.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, at any rate, go Cat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Stay
probably
late.
won't stay awake long enough.
Buy some alcohol out in the county and have fun. Got to work on an education campaign for that, by the way.
It's gonna start with drink responsibly.
No, it's supposed to, no, it ends with drink responsibly. But yeah, you're,
Starts with drink.
yeah, and then ends with
So
responsible.
that'll be the little whisper you hear at the end of the commercial.
Yeah. That's why they put it in the fine print down below.
But yeah, just mark, go to Riley or
Yeah.
Randolph and buy it.
Yeah.
Been proven wrong. This was anything but.
Well, it's fixing to end, so one way or the other here. So.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else.
Me either.
Just remember, we've got tour tomorrow. It's gonna take up most of the day, so just be ready.
Okay, well, I think my dog walker's out of town. I may have to run off to walk the dog in between somewhere. But anyway, I would make a motion to adjourn the September 19th meeting of the Board of County Commissioners.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn the September 19th meeting of the Riley County Commission. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.